I want to discuss with you 3 of the main things that I believe many kind of landscapers, construction workers, aspiring ones would really want to know the answers to. And with your business, like Kruzer Earthmoving has been going for how many years now?
Since 2011.
How do you go about gaining that client and closing that client? From the moment you get an email or a phone call, what's your next step? Hey guys, and welcome to the Kruzer channel. Obviously, I'm not Josh, I'm Chris, but this week in Bali, I decided to take full control of the Kruzer channel. And today, in this video, we're going to find out exactly what the top 3 things are for aspiring landscapers or contractors looking to get into the business. So, I decided to pick Josh's brain and find out some of the knowledge and just crack open that head a little bit. So, Josh, I want to discuss with you 3 of the main things that I believe many kind of landscapers, construction workers, aspiring ones would really want to know the answers to. So let's start it off. Number 1, getting leads. Now, for many aspiring landscapers or construction workers who want to start their own business and get into it, getting leads and gaining clients are probably 2 of the most important things. Otherwise, they don't have a business.
Correct.
So you've been in this now for a while, and I want to find out from you how you would recommend somebody new start gaining leads first.
Yeah, Chris, thanks for taking over the channel. It's been pretty good. Look, I would say that the first thing you'd need to do would be get a website. So first you'd need to engage with someone that does websites. Do your own research on the best quality type of people that can actually start to finish, get a website going and run SEO on a monthly basis.
Okay, so digital marketing in a way is where you would kind of primarily go. And with your business, like Kruzer Earthmoving has been going for how many years now?
Since 2011.
Okay, so quite a few. We're looking at, I'm not going to do the maths, what, 15?
Yeah,
15 years, yeah?
Approximately.
Something like that, 14, something like that. So in regards to digital marketing, where do you focus most of your efforts at the moment? Are we talking like YouTube, obviously, but before that, are we talking like maybe Instagram, Facebook? Are we talking about email newsletters? Where is your main focus for gaining leads?
Like when I first started, or yeah. So when I first started, because I didn't have enough cash, so I first started like just a bit of Facebook, word of mouth. When I picked up one job, I would ask that person, do you know anyone else that is looking for this type of work? And then I would move on to that person. So I was always sort of getting leads in with dribs and drabs.
More through word of mouth, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the website actually, it's very important to get the website up and running. As soon as you know what you're going to do, I suppose before even step 1, before you even do any of this, you need to write a business plan. Because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And you got to run through it step by step.
Okay. And then when it comes to the digital marketing aspect, so back in 2011 is when you first started. So it was quite some time ago, maybe before where social media is today. How do you see how your business and digital marketing has changed from, for example, 2011, 2012 to where we are today, i.e. 2024?
Oh, well, for starters, AI has come into play.
Yeah.
it's a big game changer for sure. And that's helped a lot of businesses, I think, with AI. And you yourself do a fair bit of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've watched some of your YouTube videos that you put out there.
I'm pleased.
So yeah, look, there's lots that have changed. Like obviously Facebook and I think Instagram was still around, but I don't think I was really using Instagram at all, or either TikTok. There was no TikTok back then.
Yeah.
So it was mainly Facebook that I really tried to put out. We did try Google AdWords as well, but Google AdWords, I just felt like it was just a waste of money, to be honest. Not knocking Google or anything, but like I I did try, and I was spending lots of money and just wasn't getting the right leads come in. So, but SEO on websites after a certain amount of time actually generates leads, and you start having like I get anywhere up to say 15 to 20 calls and emails every single week. In relation to retaining walls, earthworks, site cuts, driveways.
And you see these clients and these calls come in directly, mostly through your website? Is that what you see there funneling through?
Yeah. Well, it is a mixture, but between the phone calls and the website. But the emails. But they all go to the website.
Yeah.
So whether it's to get my phone number from the website or to get my email from the website, and that's all SEO. And GMB stuff as well. Google My Business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a big part of SEO.
Yeah. So exactly, you kind of touched on a point there, Google Ads. So I feel like maybe last year or 2 years ago, this was still a big thing. And I think it probably is still a big thing for a lot of businesses. But like you said, it is something where you have to invest a lot of money and you kind of need to get it right. Otherwise, you are just wasting money. But now I think, with the social media and the other digital marketing aspects out there right now, whether or not Google Ads is really worth it, like you yourself have got to a point where, you don't really use it anymore.
No, I don't use Google Ads at all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Look, that's a bit of a lie. I do use it every now and then just to prick my SEO, boost it a bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, but I might only spend maybe $100 every a quarter, something like that.
Okay.
So it's not much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just, touch on it every now and then. Okay, so we've talked about the leads coming in and what the best, say, digital marketing effort is, but what about actually getting the clients? So let's say, for example, you're getting the leads coming through emails and phone calls. So let's go right from the basics. So let's say you receive an email from a client, and obviously probably the first thing that they want to know, probably it's what they include in their first message, is that they want a quote for the project that they probably describe in that same email. How do you go about gaining that client and closing that client? From the moment you get an email or a phone call, what's your next step?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, sales is a big part of business. If you don't know how to conduct sales properly, you might as well just keep working for someone else. That's how I've always seen it. It's a hustle. You got to hustle. So I get the email. It's Joe or John from Melbourne, for instance. I pull it up. I have a look at what they've sent. Sometimes they put their address. Sometimes they send a couple of photos of what the job is. And sometimes they send some plans. So I have a quick look and get an understanding and a feel for the actual job. I can, because I've been doing it for so long, I can envision it and I can see how much it's going to probably cost in my head just by looking at some things. So, and then I'll call them. And one thing that I'll do is in the first sort of 2 minutes, I'll try and get a budget out of them. Because if I know what their budget is, and everyone doesn't want to give their budget, they, like 95% of people will be like, oh, I just want looking for quotes. Oh, it's, so you can sort of wean out the tire kickers.
Exactly, because otherwise you're wasting time on somebody whose budget is probably way below or could be way below what you're even able to do the job for.
That's right, because we can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on landscaping. And it's so basically we just ask the question and then they'll say to us, no, I'm not wanting to give that information out in a way. And so I'll say, okay, that's fair enough, but for me to do the job, I need to know the budget, because we want to be able to work with your budget. So if I said to you something like 50K, is that out of your budget? And they'll say straight out, oh yeah, that's well out. We can't afford that. And then that's when we go, okay, so we talking more like say 20 to 30,000. So yeah, look, we could probably make that work. Okay, well now I've got your budget. It's between 20 and 30,000. So that's a key element to winning work. So then I'll see, look, is the job worth my time actually going out and having a look at the whole job? and I can tell, like, 'cause I want to build a rapport with the client as well.
Yep.
But I want to make sure that they're not wasting my time.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, like, I've got a family at home, and like, I get calls and emails at night. But if I concentrate on making sure that I get the right sales for each client, each job, and be little bit more picky with my business, you get the right jobs, and you can go to clients, places, and work there, and everyone's happy. So I can hear that in their voice when you're talking with them, and that just comes in with time, knowing your client.
Exactly. And I guess, once you do get a budget, that client has then kind of gone from a cold lead to a warmer lead, because
Correct.
At least then you know their budget, and it's kind of the case that, okay, we can do something for this client. They've kind of let loose on what their budget is, so we know what they can spend. And, obviously you still have to take them over to the next hurdle, let's say, but you've gone to the next step.
Do you want to know the next hurdle?
Go on.
So the next hurdle is, making sure, okay, should I go to that property, or should I quote this job over the phone?
Okay.
Because if I quote it over the phone, like, my strike rate at the moment is around about 85% strike rate over the phone. So I can look at the whole job. I can know, okay, you got a site cut? Yep, okay. So you got a retaining wall? Yep, okay. How long roughly you think it is? And I know what the materials are. I know everything off the top of my head, what everything's going to cost. So, like, I know that, is there good access to the property? Okay, I know that it's going to take my guys 3 days if it's going to be like a 20-meter wall. 3 days, and say 1 meter high wall. First day, dig it out, drill holes. Second day, post, let it dry. Third day, put all the sleepers in and backfill. So that's just on a retaining wall sector. So I can quote a hell of a lot of jobs just over the phone, and then I just basically say, this is what it's going to cost. Is this something of interest to you?
Yeah.
And then I just wait for them to. I don't say anything after I say, is this something of interest to you?
Yeah.
And I make them say
silence.
Yes. Yes, silence. and then they'll give me the answer, and they'll say yes, no.
Okay.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you guys. Just wanted to make you guys aware why we actually do these videos. We do it because it creates awareness for men's mental health, prevention of male suicide. Now, if you're thinking how that is, then let me tell you. Because it's through our interactions and inspiring stories we get to listen to every day from those that we help, and then they're shared directly with you, helping you realize that we all go through tough times now and then, but it's how we come out of them that really define who we are. For more information, head over to mmhf.org.au. Now back to the video, guys.
So having touched on that, let's go straight into the next question that I wanted to actually ask you, which you're kind of answering already, but that is quoting. Now, you just made, some great examples that pretty much your quoting comes from your experience, basically. You can quote because you already know, you do this so often, off the top of your head, the material costs, you know all the factors that go into it. But for somebody new to the industry, let's say they rock up at a client's home, how should they approach that? Because at the end of the day, the client is looking for a quote immediately. I think most of them expect, like, hey, give me a quote right now, even though there's no way they have a catalog of how much the materials are going to cost inside their head. So when it comes to that quoting, let's say that person has rocked up at the job and wants to quote the customer. The customer is obviously pushing a little bit, like, okay, look, just give me a price. It's just a rough price, a ballpark figure, yeah?
Yeah.
What would be your advice, and how would you quote such a thing as a beginner?
Yeah, look, I want to be able to do a quality job for you, Chris. So for me to do a quality job, I need to take this back and work out the materials. Okay. So that's how I'd say that. I wouldn't get it. Look, I can't give you an estimate over that. Like, I would take that step back. With my knowledge now, I could estimate on the spot. But with no knowledge, you would turn around and take a step back and say, for me to do a quality job, I need to take all this information that I've received, take it back, step by step, work it out, and go from the top of, okay, this is how much the job's going to be. This is how much my material is going to cost. This is how much my labor is going to cost. This is how much my insurance. This is how much my fuel. This is how much maintenance. I'm going to cost.
You even go into the insurance as well.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
and you break that down. So if your insurance, for instance, just to give you an example,
Yeah.
if your insurance costs, $500, or say $400 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
You work that out over this particular job that we're talking about might take a week, right? So you go divide that by 4, and then there's $100. So you got to add that $100 to that week's work.
Okay.
And then you add. That's how you break everything down. And this should be in your business plan as well.
Yeah.
Where you should be able to know how much it costs you per minute, per second to run your business. Because if you don't know your business,
Okay.
how do you run your business?
Exactly.
You're the one directing the. That's why it's called a director.
Yeah.
You're directing that ship. You're steering it in the direction you want. And if you don't know these things, you're going to start steering like this.
Yeah. I think that's also a very good point, because that's something I would 100% overlook. Like adding the insurance, for example, and these kind of costs into the actual quote, because for me,
hidden.
I would assume that this cost is just something I have to absorb every month to run the business.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I would probably introduce into the quote. Like I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah, it's all hidden costs.
Yeah.
Another thing, what I would do in that situation would be, I would go in and I would still be confident,
Yeah.
and I would assume the sale at all times.
Okay.
I assume the sale. I say, I feel like I'll be able to come here and start this job within about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you happy for us to do something like that if that was possible?
Okay, so literally putting them on the spot, yes, no situation.
Yes,
Okay.
no situations. Yeah, we're not giving you the quote just yet, but we're trying to lock you into that job.
Yeah.
And this, to be honest, this is all business aspects.
Yeah.
Like I've run multiple businesses.
Yeah.
But this is, you can use this in every other business model. It's the same aspect: sales, quoting, leads, confidence.
And in regards to the kind of landscaping construction side of things, when it comes to the actual quoting itself, so obviously we have the material costs, we have also the hidden costs, but then a ballpark figure of how much a director of a business or of a new business should be added on top profit-wise. Like what kind of ballpark percentages are we talking?
Well, you're first starting out, you try and, I wouldn't go low.
Okay.
Because then you would be known as, this guy's cheap. You don't want to be known as cheap. You want to be known as, I'm going to put a 35% profit margin on, 50 if you can, 50% if you can. If you can win 50% profit margins in the back pocket, because there's difference, there's gross margins and then net margins. That's the net. What's in the back pocket that counts. Nothing else matters. You can have a multi-million-dollar business that only profits $100,000 a year with a whole lot of headaches. But you can have another smaller business that runs $300,000 a year and profits $200,000. So it's better than the bigger business.
Yeah, of course. Okay. All right. Interesting. And then now we've come to the gaining leads, getting clients, quoting. Obviously, I think the next step for most people is going to be actually building out a team, because there's no way one person can do it by themselves. Obviously, it depends on the landscaping job, but if it's something that involves heavy machinery and not just planting a few shrubs, it's going to take more people.
Manpower.
So exactly, what are the options somebody would have to build a team?
Yeah, good luck.
Okay.
It's very hard to find good staff in any business for starters, but in particular what we do, because we have a lot of elements to it. Like we need people to do excavation, we need people to be able to drive trucks, we need people to do hard manual labor like dig holes, jackhammer, some physical work, and it's hard to find these type of people. The best thing that I've done over the years is try and just word of mouth, Facebook, and just try and poach people. If you can, when you go to the pub or you go down the street. Like I used to pull over at Safeway, the local supermarket, and I'll see if I can see a young guy that's got passion and he's got drive. I'll approach him. He doesn't need to know about excavation and truck drivers and that, because I'll teach him, and that's better than trying to get someone that already knows or thinks they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So that's great for somebody like you with that experience already. Somebody starting out,
No, yeah.
would you suggest that they go down? I feel like maybe the subcontracting route would be best for newbies, purely because they wouldn't have so many jobs, lined up. So, employing somebody, to make sure that they have work all the time could be tough. So would you say subcontracting would be the best way for newbies, or how would you approach it for a newbie?
No, I probably wouldn't say subcontractors for a newbie. No?
Okay.
Because it's their name on the line, and they won't have that experience from if a subcontractor stuffs the job up. They're putting themselves in a position where if the job stuffs up, it's their name and they can't get out of it, and they may lose a hell of a lot of money and go bust before they even start.
Okay, so literally they need to be directly on that job.
They need to be on that job. They need to be on the tools, and they need to learn themselves what to do to run the business. And then they need to hire good labourers, even if they have to pay a little bit extra. Over the first sort of 6 months, before you enter into a business like this, you need to know you got to have to come up with some good capital.
Yeah.
Because you can't walk in the door with, $5 in your back pocket and think you're going to take over the world. It's not going to work. You need to have money. And to do that, you need to start the ball moving with, working your own, like working for somebody else, building cash flow, putting that in, learning how a business works, going to school, do after hours, learning how business works. But in general, getting back to your initial question, Chris.
Yeah.
Look, subcontractors is probably a no to start off with.
Okay.
But you definitely need to be able to have some sort of help helping you growing the business slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
on the tools.
Exactly. From the start, it is going to be a grind. It's not something that's going to come so easy.
Yeah.
But then obviously, you put in that time, you put in that energy and consistency, and, you could quite easily end up to where you are today. But yeah, I think this kind of thing, it does take time.
That does, yeah. One thing, Chris, can I add?
Yep.
Before we finish up?
Go on.
Set a goal.
Okay.
So the goal is I want to set up a landscaping and earth-moving company. Plan every single step underneath it, and then tick from the bottom up. And then guess where you're going to be at the end? Your goal.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I think on that note, I think that's a great finishing note, to be honest. So right there, you have basically, I think you've just shown everybody how to gain leads, how to get clients, how to quote, and then basically how to start or what you should be doing. So obviously, in my experience, subcontracting would have been the way to go, but obviously that's not really the case. So I think, hopefully you guys have actually just learned a lot from that. But yeah, anything else to add? Or are you good?
No, stay tuned.
Okay, so we'll be in Bali for the rest of the week. So what that means is I'll be taking over your channel a little bit more often. I've got a few other plans in mind because obviously, if you've been watching the Kruzer Earthmoving channel, we see what you do, but we don't know so much about you, I feel.
Yeah.
So this week we are going to be finding out a lot more. So stay tuned for more videos to come because I have a to-do list of videos for you guys. Otherwise, thank you.
Breaking my balls. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, man. And we'll be back very soon.